The Democratic presidential candidates hold their next nominating contest today in Nevada. The latest poll shows Bernie Sanders holding a double-digit lead over the rest of the field. Nevada is the third state to hold a primary or caucus this election cycle. And after finishing at or near the top in Iowa and New Hampshire, Sanders' campaign could get another big boost today. Ed O'Keefe is in Las Vegas. Mr. O'Keefe, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Glore. Already 75,000 people have cast ballots early in this state. That's almost as many as caucused 4 years ago. And despite the rain around lunchtime today, Nevadans will head to high schools, libraries, and yes, even some of the hotels here on the Strip to cast ballots in this race. But it's one of the candidates who's not competing here in Nevada who's facing some scrutiny and making some changes. Mike Bloomberg. Under intense pressure to release former employees from non-disclosure agreements, former New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg says his company will allow 3 women who once signed NDAs over comments he made to speak out if they choose. In a statement, he said, "I recognize that NDAs promote a culture of silence in the workplace and contribute to a culture of women not feeling safe. But some opponents say Bloomberg needs to do more."
If he wants to be the Democratic nominee, and he wants to be the president of the United States, then he's going to have to be fully transparent on this issue.
Bloomberg isn't competing in Nevada, and candidates who are, like former Vice President Joe Biden, spent Friday looking for last-minute support.
Look, the good news is the field is narrowing. The better news, you're all taking really closer looks at the other guys now. You're all taking a real good look. They're not bad folks, they're just not Democrats.
But polls here give Bernie Sanders a comfortable lead. The senator is so confident of his chances in Nevada that he spent most of Friday campaigning in California, which doesn't vote until next month.
I got news for the Democratic establishment. They can't stop us.
Opponents like Mayor Pete Buttigieg worry that Sanders, a self-described Democratic socialist, will end up alienating too many voters.
He is the front runner right now by many measures. I'm the only candidate who's beaten him at all, and that was by the slimmest of margins in the delegate count in Iowa. We need to ask ourselves as a party whether we want that to be how we compete against Donald Trump or whether there's a better way. I'm offering a better way.
Mr. O'Keefe, which candidate has the most to gain and or lose in this caucus?
Well, Michelle, obviously, if Bernie Sanders pulls it off here again, it just adds to his momentum and his case to win the Democratic nomination. It'll send chills down the backs of more moderate Democrats who worry about a self-described Democratic socialist becoming the party's nominee. But probably the two with the most to prove, Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren, who weeks ago were seen as powerful, likely contenders for the nomination and have struggled to find support in Iowa and New Hampshire. If they could come in second or third here in Nevada, it would certainly help.
At a record number of people, as you know, watched the debate on Wednesday night, 20 million. Is there a sense of which candidate is going to be able to harness their performance in that debate into support tonight?
Well, support here in Nevada, not necessarily. I think the one that probably faces the most questions still about what went on in that debate is Mike Bloomberg, who, of course, isn't competing here in Nevada and will make his next appearance in our South Carolina debate next week. Beyond him, it'll be interesting to see if someone like, again, Warren or Mayor Buttigieg perhaps do better than expected here in Nevada, and if that had anything to do with their debate performance. Remember, in New Hampshire, Senator Amy Klobuchar had a great debate performance. A few days later, placed third, unexpectedly. Something like that could happen here as well.
And so much early voting there, too, Ed, which may have an impact on that as well. Now, we know what happened in Iowa with the caucus, so what's the Nevada Democratic Party doing to ensure these results in the caucus are reported correctly?
Well, for one thing, they're using a combination of iPads and Google documents to do the math today. So while that might mean it's more efficient, it also could mean there's potential for math and technology problems similar to what we saw in Iowa. The party had tried to make some changes here after seeing what happened in Iowa, but there's still concerns that precinct captains and others running the caucuses across the state might not be able to use that software or that there could be delays. Don't necessarily presume that we'll have results by the end of today. It could bleed into tomorrow. That's typical. It sometimes takes a little longer to count here, but it would cause concern for Democrats nationwide if in their first 3 contests, 2 of them took a while to do the counting.
Yeah, there is no doubt. Ed O'Keefe, always a pleasure. Thank you, Ed.